Hey folks, welcome to another LifterLMS Ask Me Anything call. I see we've already got a couple of people in the live view, and so as always, myself and Emily will be with you for the next hour or so. We want to encourage you, we want to encourage you to put your questions and answers into the chat. So if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us directly through chat live. Ask your questions live. I have had a ton of support requests come in this week on multiple subjects, and multiple times I referred people. I said, hey, if you've got additional questions, this is a good topic. Why don't you bring it to the Ask Me Anything call? So maybe we'll see some folks jump in and ask their questions live, because it adds value to everybody else when you do. So that is there. Again, we'll be here for the next hour or so. And the one thing that I want to put out real quick and early that I just put in the ticker down at the bottom is, and we'll hit it up again at the end, but if you like what you hear, if you're interested in LifterLMS and there's something you want to buy, you can go to LifterLMS.com and get a 55% off coupon by going to LifterLMS.com/AMA-gift. Again, that's /AMA-gift. And if you are a visual learner and you're watching us, it is at the bottom of the screen, going right across the screen now. So https lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. That said, welcome Emily to the call. How you doing this week?
I'm good. I'm just finishing up a couple of client projects related. It's actually someone from the stream who joins us regularly. We did a client project, just like building out their site with Skypilot. It's cool. It's an AI training course, but that's what I've been up to.
That's awesome.
How about you, Kurt?
We just landed a new contract this week, which is pretty cool. It's a pre-existing website. From an agency perspective, I'm not usually in on pre-existing websites and things like that, but this was a pretty strong built pre-existing website. They sell PDFs and white letters, and they have an existing business that's pretty strong, and they had content where they were giving live workshops on 5 different courses, and they were doing it live and doing through Zoom calls and giving people access to like Google Docs for workbooks and things like that. And they came to us and they said, hey, what if we wanted to make this an evergreen product, build it as an actual course and not live workshops, and then sell the course and then maybe sell coaching on top of the course? I said, well, that's absolutely, the model that we use and the one that we propagate the most. And so we signed up for that. And from an agency perspective, we are converting their PowerPoints and some of the notes from their Zoom calls that they've recorded into actual, narrative training content to build their curriculum for them and their syllabus to launch their product. So it's a fun project for us because we get to be a little more creative in the content, and it's not just a form over function kind of thing for us, which is fun to do for a change.
Yeah.
Everything else is good. Everything else, I talk about them a lot. Sometimes I don't mention them by name, but they are really, really coming out of the gate strong. That Art of Makeup project has really begun to take a life of its own, and it's working really, really well. So it's fun when you see a learning product that you launch and it gets customers pretty quickly, and then it continues to get customers. And because there's the friends and family quotient with any project, right? It's like, hey, Gary. Gary says, hola from Winnipeg, which is strange because he's talking in Spanish from Canada. But hola from Winnipeg. Hola. What do you say? Soy dura, right? So, boom. Zoe's going to jump in with a question right away. So we'll get to this in just a heartbeat. Emily, your projects, are you doing more content stuff, or are you doing more like function stuff? If you had to lay it out for yourself, what do you think your current workload is mostly?
It's a lot of both. It's a lot of like hopping on Zoom, consulting with people. Like I'm either like writing custom code live. Like I built a plugin like 2 weeks ago that was, or completed it, which was like people wanted results clarifications to have like a pop-up and to be able to ask the instructor, so it like does the custom code to send the instructor a message with the information from the question the student's on, just in WordPress. But then also just like the last project I did was just kind of like not a full site build, but if like, so they gave it a shot, they put together everything that they could for the courses, and then we just like fine-tuned it, got the WooCommerce experience, custom CSS for colors and everything. So just taking the website from like we put in our content to it's ready to launch. That's kind of, and also marketing stuff.
That's cool. I would say out of the two of us, I think that's where a lot of your, strength really comes to surface is, you'll jump on and screen share with folks and do things in real time and train them and coach them. Whereas my methodology is more like, I'm going to build this giant project for you, and then I'm going to create some tutorials for you that I'll hide in the back of the site. And then if you need to buy more time, we can do more time. But yeah, I love the idea that you jump on live with folks and work with them in real time and help them more from a DIY perspective, which is really cool. Zoe joins us from the UK. Zoe, welcome to the call. And Zach says, hey, Kurt and Emily. You should put Emily first. Girls always go first. Hi, Emily. Kurt. But Zach, I just went to a thing last night. I went to a potluck last night, and I'm very old school. I'm very used to, hey, ladies and girls go first to the potluck and blah, blah, blah. And they did the weirdest thing. It was for a wrestling team. And they said, parents and students that are seniors go first. Parents and students that are juniors go next. Parents and students that are sophomores go next. And I thought that was such a weird way to go because if you have athletes that are seniors, they're going to eat a lot of dang food. So I would make them go last. There's no way I would be like, hey, I want all you football players to go up and grab that smoked brisket first, because there ain't going to be no brisket left by the time the smaller kids get up there. But anyway, I was like, this is completely backwards. So I went again. I'm off the rails. My ADD and coffee is kicking in like crazy today. So let's get back to Zoe's question. Zoe, and again, reminder: if you have questions, bring them, put them in the chat, and we'll get to you here. But Zoe says, I had a problem linking the login option in my menu to the login page. Can you explain what I'm doing wrong, please?
I had a problem linking login. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that. I have a screen share if we're talking about.
And we're probably interpreting it 16 different ways. LifterLMS, if you're using a standard login like LifterLMS, there's a sign in and sign out option. It's a dynamic option in the menu that you can choose. And then depending on which page builder you're using, you might be having issues with modifying your menu. Like if you're in SkyPilot, which is a full site editing theme, that's a different process than like a normal Gutenberg theme. So I'm sorry, I'm stepping all over your response, Emily.
No, you're good. So yeah, looking at the menus, let us know, Zoe, what theme you're working with, because that will change.
She says the login words didn't show in the menu. So I almost think when she says that she's in a full site editing theme and she's not seeing changes to the menu that she expects. But in any case, she says, I did a workaround. I used a direct HTTPS instead of a link to LifterLMS. Well, let's go through the exercise with adding the dynamic, sign in, sign out things, and then maybe she can give us some more details on what theme she's actually using.
Yeah, let us know that in the chat. So there's two ways to edit menus, whether you're in full site editing or whether you're in a pre-full site editing theme. Although the other day I did work on a website that was using Launchpad, which is pre-customizer. So that's like the only theme that I've ever seen in this community where like you're not working off the customizer, you're working off of just a backend custom panel per theme. So if we're in SkyPilot or any full site editing theme, like the modern WordPress ones, like 2024, 2025, we're going to go to Appearance Editor to as the best place to edit our menus. We have navigation up here at the top where we can manage what menus we have, and then the placement of the menus is frequently in templates. But my preferred way to edit menus in SkyPilot is to go into my templates, and then just edit like a full width page template or something. However, I find myself in the editor. The nice thing about the block editor is that you always have your purple items, your template parts, follow you around the website. So you'll usually have your header and footer on every page. So if we're going to modify the header and we see our menu here, we can see the menus located in the header part of the website. Within this row, there's a navigation block. I don't think I would have been able to navigate here without using the list view because this is so complex. But
Yeah.
in the navigation, if we're trying to add a logout item, we can go on the right-hand side to manage the navigation block, and that includes this down here. Like, it's a little complicated chain to get here, but I think there's like a LifterLMS link as one of these. So you do a LifterLMS link, select the LifterLMS link, and see we should have sign out as our Lifter link, and then it's a dynamic link that will sign the user out. So that's how you do it in SkyPilot.
Yeah, and of course we went this way, and Zoe goes a different way. Zoe is using, she said she did a workaround to get there, right? But she's using Beaver Builder, right? And it's a modified version of Beaver Builder, which throws a curve at me. Is it Donnie, Robert, Robbie? It's Robbie. Robbie works with Beaver Builder, right?
Yeah.
Super
Robbie
nice
McCullough.
guy, super nice guy. And she's not in SkyPilot. So it's more of a Gutenberg experience than I would imagine.
Yeah.
So changing the menu, I think, would be more like the Gutenberg experience of going down through appearance and menus and then adding it in the old school way. And then Beaver Builder would insert that menu through the builder.
Digital
Business Lounge.
I'm gonna see, is this like a repo theme or some other thing? This is not it. I don't know if it's like a paid theme, but it could be. We'll talk about with Beaver Builder how you would do that. So if you go to plugins, add new, I'll install Beaver Builder. I haven't installed Beaver Builder in a long time, but Lifter has a Beaver Builder integration now, and I really loved Beaver Builder when I started using WordPress. But then Tangible Elements came out, and there was a LifterLMS Elementor integration, so I was using that all the time.
And we integrate with Beaver Builder now, right? Didn't that come out a couple months ago?
Yeah, that's out. And so we'll talk about installing a theme in Beaver Builder. I don't know about the Digital Business Lounge theme, but it should be the same in Astra. It's because it's a private plugin. Oh yeah, the Digital Business Lounge is a private. Okay, so with Beaver Builder active on our website, when we're editing pages, and let us know, are you editing your headers and your footers in Beaver Builder too? Are you using like Beaver Themer on the back end? Because that's another product they have to turn Beaver Builder into your theme, kind of. But
cool. She's using Astra. Astra is one of my favorites.
Astra, okay, great. I'm on Astra, so we're perfect on that.
Perfect. The cool part about LifterLMS having this dynamic menu option is that it comes standard with every version of Lifter, so we don't have to be worried about it. But sometimes you need to go into your screen options in the menu edit screen and turn the Lifter options on because they're not always activated.
Yeah, and so within Beaver Builder, if you're installing your navigation, it would be navigation menu. And then you would select which of your menus. And then, so I have a course menu and a footer menu, but when we go to appearance and menus, like Kurt said, in Astra, we can port our Astra menus into Beaver Builder. So we have, I'm on widgets. Let's go to menus, appearance menus. Yeah, widgets are, they're making a comeback as blocks. They've taken over WordPress.
Which is so weird because I got so used to just ignoring widgets.
Right. And so, yeah, so the LMS options at the top of the screen, if anyone doesn't know, it's right here. That's where you'll get your sign out menu link. And then LifterLMS, sign out, add to menu. Oh, and I already have one. Let's go ahead and remove one of them. Save that. And so this is my course menu primary. So if I'm in Beaver Builder, I will select course menu primary to add that to my my area, sign out. Or if you're in Astra and you're setting your headers in Astra, you go to Appearance Customize, because this could be done a few different ways. So hopefully this is helpful. We can go
And
back.
I'm going to take a moment and just give Zoe a shout out, because she is doing a wonderful job of putting the comments in with us. So, she's got it right here. She says, I turned the LMS options on at the top of the screen. I couldn't get widgets to work. And now she says the word sign in just didn't show up in the menu on my static front page. And so sign in it's dynamic. So if you're already signed into the website or enrolled, you're not going to see the sign in option. You would see the sign out option. But if you're signed out, you're not going to see the sign out option. You're only going to see the sign in option. So it's one of the ways that we help keep the navigation menu really clean, and we don't duplicate options that you don't need. So that might be some of it right there.
Yeah, and so like here it says log in on the Academy, but once I log in, it will say log out. And so you can swap those things around.
Yeah. The dynamic nature of that to me is just really cool. And it's been that way forever. I mean, it's for almost as long as I can remember, it's been that way. And then she says, how can I tell if my users will see the words? That is the glory of a dynamic website, Zoe. When you're building the website with any kind of dynamic tool, so whether it's e-commerce, community, or learning, you are going to see things from an administrator's perspective. And so if you are in LifterLMS and you're editing something and you want to see it as a visitor or as a student, there is an option at the admin bar on the right side that says view as a visitor or view as a student, and it'll swap out the content for you and refresh the screen and show it to you the way a student sees it or the way a visitor would see it. Because remember, there's two different ways, right? You're either enrolled and you're visiting the site, you're enrolled and you're a user, a student, or you're not enrolled and you're a visitor, or you're an administrator, which is view as myself. However, I'm going to go one step further. I should trust it. It's a LifterLMS feature. I should promote it all I can. I don't use it that way. If I want to see the website as a visitor, I open up an incognito window and I look at the website in an incognito window. So I want to be completely removed from the login or my influence in the site. So whenever I want to see what a visitor sees, I go through an incognito window or a separate browser. And then if I want to see it as a student, I will typically use the switch user plugin so that I imitate. What do they call that? Imitate. No, you become another user. So I become that user, and then I go through the website as that user, as a student. And then she wants to know if we could just demonstrate that happening. So could you jump into that screen again, Emily, and then show us just the view as a visitor, view as a student?
Sure. So if we go here, the view as visitor or student options will appear on your course and lesson pages, but not necessarily across your whole website.
Yeah.
So if we go like view at the top, it'll be right here. A lot of people do work, and for me, I have so many plugins on here that it's knocking it down to the next line.
Yeah,
but
out.
If I expand my screen, we'll have myself, visitor, student, and that will change. Like we have the access plan. If we do a student would not see the access plan because they're already enrolled. So it's just gone and their progress stuff is here.
Yeah.
And then incognito, let's see if this will show up. Does it? It does. Okay. So this shows up here, new incognito window or private browsing mode if you're in Safari. It's a way to start another session.
Yeah, Zoe, it's in. I don't know if you froze or we froze, but I'm seeing the screen share. Right now it says My Academy and Course Progress.
Yeah. And so this, so the, lost my train of thought. Yeah, so, okay.
She can see it now.
Those are the two ways of doing it, where you have view as visitor, view as student, which change how you view course and lesson pages. And then private incognito window or private browsing mode in Safari is how you would start a second window. You could also be like, I edit in Chrome and on Safari, I'm a visitor. I've seen clients do that to keep it simple, 2 different applications. Or if you have 2 devices, you could do that too.
I have had the weirdest thing lately, and actually, Zoe, on the top of the screen right now, what it's gone.
Oh,
You can see it in the menu bar where it says "Viewing as Visitor." It's right up there, and so when you hover on that, you get the options to view as myself or view as student. Again, I know it's a feature. I know I should brag about it and talk about how awesome it is, but I'm paranoid, and so I will constantly jump into a new browser or an incognito window to confirm things. And then almost every website that I build, period, whether it's for me or for a client, I'm going to add the user switching plugin. It's free, it's in the repository. I think there's like 800,000 installs or something crazy like that. But I use the user switching plugin. And that way, for any user in the website, when you go to the users menu, when you look at the easy drive menu underneath, for options under the users, one of them is going to be switch user, and I'll switch to that user so that I can see the website from their perspective. When you're running a learning website, you're going to have students send you emails with crazy, stupid stuff, right? Like, I can't log in. I tried to submit my assignment and it didn't work. I couldn't see the lesson. There's going to be all these kinds of things. And so that user switching plugin for me is paramount, because then I will sign in as that student and I'll do a recorded screen of it working correctly. And then I'll send it to the student and be like, is this how you're using the website? 9 times out of 10, they didn't click on something, or they didn't fill in a required field inside a form, or something's happened that they've missed. And so they're not getting the option to close or complete something. And so most of the time it's user error. But if I sign in as them and go through the process and then send them the screen share video, that takes care of the whole support ticket for me. So that's one of the things that I use quite a bit. And it's not an LMS plugin. It is in the repository. It's completely free. If you open up plugins and you click add new and you search switch user or user switch, you'll see it come right to the top. Shazam. Yeah, it's a really, really good tool, really easy way to work. We did have a question that was pre-submitted, Emily, and I want to make sure that we address it because we give people the ability to ask questions in advance. And this question, I'm assuming, is written by somebody maybe out of country, because it's English is a little scattered. But from what I'm gathering, it is, and I'm not going to put their name on it, but let's just say it's a pricing question. Periodically, you are going to see deals come through LifterLMS. Like right now, we have, get 55% off if you go to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. Yeah, like that's memorized now, right? So we have that. But here's another pricing question. There was a deal that we had. I don't know if we still have it. I lose track sometimes on the deals, but it was if you bought 3 years of the universe. If you bought 3 years of the universe bundle, you paid basically for 2 years of it. And I think that's what this question is asking. It's like, there's a 3-year subscription for the universe bundle. Can I add advanced quizzes to that so I don't have to pay for advanced quizzes every year? Well, that's like a special coupon sale, right? So get 3 years of the universe bundle for the cost of 2. The standalone advanced add-ons are available as standalone products. So those are annual subscriptions. However, the advanced products that are part of the Infinity Bundle would then be available in the Infinity Bundle. And we have different price and coupon models based on that bundle as well. So if you were like, hey, I don't want to pay for a separate add-on every year, then quite honestly, maybe upgrading to the Infinity Bundle is the correct answer for you, especially when we get into the idea that there are lifetime deals available. So if you did a lifetime deal on the Infinity Bundle and you knew that your project was going to have staying power, like if you knew you were going to have this thing going for 5 years, you'd actually be better off to buy the lifetime Infinity Bundle because you get access to everything, all the advanced add-ons, access to priority support, and the office hours calls and all the things. But in a grand scheme of economics, it would probably be better to do the infinity bundle on the lifetime deal than it would be to worry about an annual subscription on Universe Plus and advanced add-on, especially, when you start looking at the other tools that you would probably want to grow into over time. Do you have any thoughts on that, Emily? I mean, I just refer people to the pricing link, right? And I think that's the smartest thing to do when people start asking specifics about pricing. We have so many opportunities for coupons and things like that. But if you go into, let me see if I can just put the link in and we'll share it real quick. Burst. There we go. Slap that up there real quick. If you just go to the pricing page, it'll lay out everything for you. Like right now, there's a discount on all the packages, and then all the stuff that's available separate. You can just go right to the add-ons menu and see what's separate and what works for your use case. And again, that drives right back to the use case scenario, right? There's so many times that I'll start talking to somebody and, Emily, tell me that if this happens to you or not, but someone will book time with you and they'll start saying, well, what do I really need? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do, all these things start coming up. But the more they talk, the more I realize you're a corporation. You're not selling the training. You're assigning the training. You don't need to buy anything. We have the free core plugin. It fits your use case perfect. You have an external CRM that you're going to connect to with an API that's integrated on their end, right? So you could just have the free core plugin, load up your courses, and have at it. Assign people the training and teach. Like sometimes it depending on use case, the best use case is the free core plugin, which is incredibly vibrant for a free tool. And then, of course, there are people that say, oh, I just want to do this, this, and this. But the more they talk, we realize, oh, well, if you want to have, extra question types and you want to have community and you want to have all these things, then realistically, Infinity is for you, because then you would get the use of groups and social learning and advanced quizzes and all those things. So it really does drive down the use case as to what's best for your situation.
Yeah.
Zoe
Definitely.
does say fantastic. I'm pretty sure she's talking about you, Emily.
Thank you. Thank you, Zoe.
All right. Cool. Folks, I'm going to put it out there again. If you have any questions that you want to bring to the call today, we are open. We got caught up on the pre-submitted questions. I think we're caught up with Zoe. So if you're watching live and you have any questions or concerns or even just comments or use cases you want to share, this would be the time to jump in and do that. I am open to bring up a subject that I think is a little bit different, but you tell me, Emily, how crazy does this sound? We have gotten, how sometimes it just comes in waves through the support ticket system. The wave this week is twofold for me. We've had a lot of people asking about SCORM, which I've talked about a lot on this platform already, so I don't want to kill it there. The other thing that I saw was multi-site. I don't know where it's coming from, but we had 4 or 5 different people ask us about multi-site this week, and I find it really, really interesting. And I have a different way of addressing it than some people do. So, and you're feel absolutely free to tell me that I'm crazy, Emily. Officially, if you look it up on the LifterLMS website, it's going to say, that we don't support multi-site. But I think it's more appropriate to say, like, we aren't looking to provide premium support on multi-site applications and people, building these giant, crazy, cool, giant things. But what I found is if you have the Infinity bundle, you have the ability to have unlimited installations. And myself and others have run multi-sites on tools like WP Ultimo, or there was a group called WASP Pro. I don't even know if WASP Pro is still around or not, but I've seen it work. And so I was wondering what your thoughts were on multi-site, or if that's anything you would pursue as a conversation. By that silence, I will say no.
I'm like, I'm so lost.
Oh.
I was reading the questions in chat though. What do you mean?
Well, it's just, I don't know where it's really coming from, where not everyone, multiple people this week hit me up with this multi-site question, and I drive
Yeah.
back to use case. It's like, what is your use case? And so some people are like, I just want to be this person that provides the ability for all these other course creators to build their own blah, blah, blah. And that's where I'm like, no, because your use case would be better like in a multi-tenancy environment. Like
Mhm.
a multi-tenancy environment is where you create a sample website and then you use it kind of like a, there's a hosting company that calls it something that makes sense. A blueprint becomes a blueprint site. And so you take that blueprint site and it's very easily duplicable, meaning you just tell your server, I want to create another website that's just like this website. There it is. And then they change the website name and the URL and their branding, right? Like what's your icon, what's your logo, blah, 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 right? But when you do a multi-tenancy example like that, you're duplicating, the plugins and the tools and the architecture of that site as a blueprint. So it becomes very easy to say, oh, you want an e-learning website with a CRM, with a scheduler, with a this, that, and the other. We have that, right? And so boom, it's in a multi-tenancy example. So you say, okay, I want to buy a copy of that. Well, here's a copy of that. Here's a copy of that. Here's a copy of that. Whereas multi-site to me personally isn't like I have one site and I'm powering 100 sites off of that one website. And each of those 100 websites is independently managed with different themes and looks and assets and requirements. I think multi-site at that level, when people say WordPress as a service, I think multi-site at that level gets complex and messy and open to a lot of problems.
Yeah. It's multi-site examples, I guess, should be used with caution. It's kind of like if you're using a heavy chemicals, you got to be like certified to use it, but like, or just be ready to like do trial by fire. But if you want to have like a smooth business transition, multi-site's probably not the solution unless you're working with developers who are facilitating that for you. But you could just be an independent user who wants to get really educated on multi-site and provide like many instances. I would just focus on mastering like one instance of a site first, and then if you need to scale, just make sure the technical infrastructure is in place to be able to support that, like in terms of consultants and tech support.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. I thought of it like, so there was a use case I thought of, and it's like in the e-learning space, there's a lot of times where maybe you have a global training product and you need to offer your product not just in different languages, but those
Mm-hmm.
different countries will have different requirements based on compliance for privacy and stuff like that. So maybe there's stuff that you do in America, stuff you do in Canada, stuff you do in the UK
Right.
is one way, and then there's stuff in Germany that's a different way, or stuff that's in. So it's not only like not just that you're translating the website, but you have to adjust certain things based on country requirements. But overall, your design aesthetic, your theme, your main content, the tools required, like the LMS, like that's going to be the same. And so if there's that much consistency, but you're looking at a difference in language conversion and maybe some compliance settings with the CRM tool or something like that, then I think multi-site is a pretty powerful tool to be able to do that, because then you can start doing things with like CLI and stuff like that to make bulk adjustments and changes on multiple sites at once instead of having to maintain multiple sites. So anyway, that's one aside. The other aside that I have, and it's a question that came up in support, and I thought it would be worth talking about today, especially with the time that we've got. And Rudy, I see you in here, so I'm glad that Rudy signed in with us. But and I will say, Rudy says hi, everyone. So we'll get to Rudy's content here in just a moment. And this is worthy of a screen share, Emily. We have a couple of people this week that didn't really understand the idea of a redirect sales page for a membership or a course. Like they don't grab it. You send them the resource, you tell them what it is, and they go, well, I don't get it. Like they say, well, how do they sign in or how do they buy? And it's like, well, that's because there's a purchase link on your access plan when you make a button with the purchase link. But it's like there's steps. And so if we could kind of go through that process real quickly, that might be a good way to use our time that's productive that people might learn from.
Sure.
I actually have a real live use case this week of someone going through this. That's my own client. They made a really great course page that has unbelievably great content on the course page, but it's more like this is everything you're going to get when you get this course. It really should have been on a sales page. And so they're saying that when their students sign in on a phone, they got to scroll forever to get to the syllabus at the bottom. And so they want to have a much easier course page for people that are already enrolled. And then they want to migrate that sales content to a real sales page that enables people to sign up.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can structure your LMS pre-sale journey. Let me quickly switch back to our Scat Pilot theme, and we can take a look at that. So as far as sales pages go, I always say that the number one sales page is the home page, because that's where a lot of people are going to be coming to if there's like organic SEO traffic. And so always having your calls to action above the fold, so like the button that they're supposed to click on is above the fold, is always a good thing to do. When we're talking about designing a course page, like on a sales page on a course page, so like one page does both things, we can do that. It's a little bit more complex to manage sometimes, because what we're looking at here is both a description of the course and a sales page of the course. If you have a massive course market like Udemy or something, you'll notice that the course sales page looks very much like the course page. They're like one page that are just formatted differently, pre-sale, post-sale. But if we have limited courses on our website, like 3 courses maybe, or 1, we might want the homepage to basically be a sales page for the course. And so the purchase links would go, instead of being like, go from the homepage to the course page to the purchase, why not go straight from the homepage to the purchase if we don't have very many courses? And that always will change based on price point. But if we want to do sales text, so if this is maybe welcome to the Quick Start course, that's content that's only for students, we could select these 3 blocks, put them in a group, and then this group we can say is only visible to non-enrolled users or visitors. So this is our sales text, and then up here, I did that the wrong way around. This is supposed to be for students. So this is for enrolled users. The other content is, hey, buy the course. This is going to be content that is only for non-enrolled users. So we could do that. One page. Kurt also mentioned a sales page. Another good way to do it. If you go to Pages, Add New, and build your own page from scratch, you can connect it to LifterLMS. So let's use the standard editor for now. We'll say this is going to be sales page for Quick Start course. And we would add videos and testimonials and sales text and whatever we needed to add as our sales content. And then our button here would be like buy now or whatever.
Emily, I gotta break in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had this happen on one of my lives last week, and apparently it's happening on this account as well. Can you stop your share and then reshare? Because I just checked our live on YouTube and the screen share is not showing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do present.
Like we're seeing it, but I don't think anyone else is.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All right, let me double check YouTube and try to refresh that. I got to turn the volume off and let me refresh. And then it takes like 10 seconds for it to catch up. Yeah, I'm seeing it now on YouTube, so we're good.
You're seeing it now? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird. I did a live last week on my own account with StreamYard, and then I had to re-record the whole stupid thing because none of my screen shares showed up. I thought it was just me, but apparently it is a StreamYard thing.
Damn. Well, I guess that's new StreamYard information, but I'll talk through because we did all kinds of cool demos that you didn't even see. So there's 2 ways to go about it. First off, if you're on the course page directly in LifterLMS, we're going to use this one page to both sell the course and integrate people into the course. So there's block visibility settings over here on the right-hand side when it comes to paragraph blocks or group blocks or whatever you're editing. And so everyone, we're going to say that this is going to be visible to non-enrolled users or visitors in this course. And so then we can add content like images, testimonials, videos, whatever we're going to add in here. And then down here, we can say that this group of blocks is only visible to enrolled users in the course. One way to do both the sales page and the course welcome page on the course page, very similar to Udemy. Then an alternate solution is to design a completely separate page in WordPress under Pages Add New. You can add sales page content for a specific course and then link up the Buy Now button to the purchase plan. So instead of doing our sales page here, our course page would be all internal course material. And for our sales page setting down here, we would redirect people to a WordPress page. We'll select our page in a moment, but I need to get the Buy Now button to work. So this is my Buy Now button, $100 one-time payment. That's where we'll send people if they are ready to buy now. And then when we publish this page, we will have it available. It'll save for a little bit. There it goes. And then we'll have that page now available to select, to redirect non-enrolled users to that page. So there's a few ways to do sales pages in Lifter.
Yeah, I have people that use the redirect to any WordPress page, and then they just make a sales page in WordPress, you know, add the access plan button, you know, and then off they go. I have a lot of folks that do it that way. And then after playing with you a little bit on some of these calls and playing around with the block visibility, I have found that to be a really much easier way to structure, I think. Because I can say, here's what I want students to see. Here's what I want visitors to see, you know, turn on, turn off, and then it's all on one page and it makes more sense. All right. I want to go back to the top and let's see what Zoe had to say. She wrote something long here before she couldn't see the screen. It says, aside, I have a 20-year-old just about to complete a final year university degree in computer science. Do you need any coding projects doing? No, I don't think we do. I don't quite know exactly what her favorite part of coding is. She could explain. And we'll be looking for her work experience. You know, Zoe, it never hurts to ask, but here's the best advice I think I could possibly give you and your 20-year-old. Get involved, right? So if she's not involved in some Slack groups or Facebook groups or finding different things that she enjoys working on, like you want to find your passion points and then kind of find groups that work on those passion points and then find avenues where you can either volunteer or at least get invited to the discussions that people are having around those products. For example, LifterLMS, just an example. LifterLMS has a developers Slack group. And there's a ton of people that jump in there and get extra information about LifterLMS that might not necessarily be in the knowledge base. I think our knowledge base is incredibly efficient and informative. But there are people that are like, I want to make a custom button that does this, that, and the other thing. You know, I want to change the way the internet works. And those discussions happen in some of those Slack groups. So I would say get involved. That's one of the best things I could recommend. And as opposed to you looking for sources for her to get involved in, it's really important that she finds things that she's attracted to, that she wants to do. E-learning for me became a passion point, and I really like LifterLMS's, core theme of democratizing learning. And so I've really been attracted to Lifter as a project, whereas somebody else might be into community or into CRMs or into coding something completely different, like video games, which is a whole different market there. Rudy jumped in and said, I've been trying different options for multi-site, but a single install is really the best, even if you have an IT background. I agree in a lot of phrases, Rudy. I really started exploring some of that multi-tenancy stuff and the site blueprint idea. And I have found a lot of success with my agency in that direction. And so I have been more attuned to um, multi-tenancy and blueprinting over multi-site. There are examples, again, based on use case, where I think multi-site is incredibly attractive. My use case was during the pandemic, and everybody was doing like, join my 5-day challenge to whatever, join my 10-day challenge to whatever, join my 15-day challenge to whatever. I had friends that had started 10-day challenges and then on Facebook, on a Facebook page, and then posted something negative about the vaccine and then got booted out of Facebook for 20 days. So here they have a live challenge that's happening in a Facebook page that they can't even access themselves to run the challenge. And so we started a thing called the Challenge Connection, which I had since turned off. But we used multi-site for that because it was the same idea, the same branding, the same, but I had like a 3-day challenge, a 7-day challenge, a 10-day challenge, and anybody could sign up, instantly launch their own site for a 3-day challenge, a 5-day challenge, a 7-day challenge, or whatever. And it was already pre-built. All they had to do was change their content for day 1, day 2, day 3, and then publish that. And then their challenge was preset. So we did that, and it got them off of Facebook and gave them the freedom to talk about the things they wanted to talk about. That was one cool use case of multi-site, but to me, it's like really use case driven. Like it's gotta make sense, and it's got to be a lot of the same things for me to make it efficient. Or like you say, go to independent installations. Gary Alderson says me too, but it's not about Kurt being a genius. It's because he couldn't see the screen share before. Let's see what else we have in here. We got some stuff. Maybe extend a bit of what blueprinting means. Yeah, Rudy, that's a tough one. And I don't know that every host entertains this. I use a host right now that actually makes it part of their system. And so you could say, I'm going to create a staging site, or I'm going to duplicate these files into a like a website is really just a stack of files, right? And so you could use FTP tool to like copy the site and move it over. You could make copies of a website, which would be the idea of blueprinting. But some servers now, some hosting companies have blueprinting as an option. So I can literally go in through my server and I can say, oh, I want to take these 5 websites and literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I could say, designate these 5 websites as blueprints for Mañana No Mas. And when I do that, like I have one that's a construction blueprint. So if I have local companies that want to start a construction website or like a remodeling website, they could literally go to Mañana No Mas, select the construction template, right? That blueprint. They say, I want to do that. And I say, well, it's this much for hosting, this much for your URL. Click this button and here's your website. And the server automatically just says, and it's done. And then all they have to do is change like the logo, the headings, their pictures, and their content, right? Because it's a pre-formed template for them. And I find that works really well. Like for our use case dealing with startups in a small local area, we have one for construction, one for consultants. We have one for food trucks we're putting out this week. And so it makes it really affordable for people to get a really affordable templated startup website. And so I find the blueprint thing to be a really good example. And you can do that with e-learning as well. So he says it's what I've been setting up now as well. Yeah, if you're running a business, like so many times, like this is a getting started with LifterLMS call, but there are people that come to this call that are like, hey, what if I buy the Infinity bundle? How many websites can I make? It's unlimited. And so like I have an Infinity license. So with my Infinity license, I'm super liberal with that thing. Do you have internal onboarding at your company? You need an LMS. Do you have a product that you sell to people that would benefit the customer to have like training on how to use the product? You need an LMS. And so I'm real liberal with how I sprinkle that product around because I think it makes us stronger. Me likey, could you share your provider? Yeah, I could sell you some hosting. That sounds funny, Rudy. Rudy, hit me up at Kurt at LifterLMS, and I'll share with you directly there. Kurt at LifterLMS. Just send me an email, and I'll respond to you there. I don't want to throw it up on the screen here. All right, Emily, we got 10 minutes left. Is there anything you want to bring up or share?
I'm chilling. I'm just just hanging out. You mean anything to share about like hosting?
I don't care if it's about hosting or about anything else.
Yeah.
I've come up with all kinds of stuff in support this week. I don't even know where to really go. I've got people asking me about drip. I've got people asking me about discussion boards and forums and comments and what tool would you recommend? And I mean, support has been all over the landscape this week. We've had a really busy week with tickets.
Yeah.
Not tickets like it's broken. I mean, tickets like I want to create a learning system. How would I do that? And everybody is, I shouldn't say everybody, that's a bad way to say it. I'm getting a lot of feedback through our support system of like, I want a learning management system, but I also want community or comments or discussion groups or forums, and it's like, I get the impression that people are building really complex things before they even have an audience, which, if you've listened to me for any length of time, you know that I kind of discourage that strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Zoe. Come on in, ask a bunch of questions, and then leave early. Have a nice day, Zoe. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting question, my favorite question in the chat was the career one. Like I started working in WordPress when I was like 15, and so just getting involved with any groups or going on Upwork and Elancer and whatever platforms are available, listing yourself. If you build a website with LifterLMS that's interesting, or if she builds a website with LifterLMS that's interesting, you could submit for the LifterLMS experts page and get like client referrals that way. But the way I learned was through client jobs, like smaller client jobs, and then eventually bigger ones. But I mean, that's kind of how I'd approach it. And it's built in WordPress as PHP and React primarily. And so if we're dealing with like C++, we're not, which a lot of computer science can go a few directions, then, we're not really working as much in server side stuff as much as we are like specifically web development. If she's interested in that, this is like the WordPress space for that. But I know like some people who work at Microsoft, and they're doing mostly backend stuff of optimizing these products that are deployed across multi-operating systems and stuff like that. That's like a different era of computer science, that different genre.
Yeah, and there's a ton in data and internet security that's just really blossoming right now.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of fintech stuff is cool. Like I don't know if coding cryptocurrencies is really the hot deal right now, but like a few years ago, coding in Solidity, you could make like $500,000 a year. So learning smart contract systems too, but that's also like you have to be invested in the culture of NFTs and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to want to do that kind of job. C# is going to be more of a server side thing than usually what we're doing. But yeah, could always give it a try. I mean, if you're 20, graduating from college, like why not try multiple different careers in computer or web development type stuff.
Gary Alderson kicked in. He's changing the channel a little bit on us. He says, have you looked at the concurrent editing in the latest version of WordPress? People here say it's a pending disaster. I think I should start out by saying that when I first started to understand collaboration inside WordPress, I was talking to Anil Gupta, who runs the company that started Multi-Collab. He was on my podcast, and I was really intrigued by my discussion with him and what it was. But then he said, right when and it was like 2 years ago that I interviewed this guy. he said, yeah, but I know they're going to make it part of core. They're going to make collaboration part of core. That's one of the things they want to focus on. But when you start thinking about multiple users inside the interface at the same time, making multiple changes, when you say, yeah, you think it might be a pending disaster, I think, yeah, there's got to be a way to manage that in a way that prevents problems, issues, conflicts, all those kinds of things. Like, I think there's got to be some kind of user hierarchy or something, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, Gary. So I'm kind of paying attention to that too.
And also, on the spirit of the career advice, she has her own server in Bedroom. So sort of hosting company is the most profitable business space on the web is hosting companies. So she can build faster servers or just be like, I will host, and this would be mostly configuring cloud servers, but doing like renting out cloud servers and offering hosting. If she's gonna like optimize for like LMS, create an LMS hosting company, that's a gap in the market right now, and hosting is the most profitable niche. So, as the industry grows, she could do a cool hosting business.
That I
Chris
just had a
would promote.
flashback. I just had an absolute flashback. Do you remember when we said to Philip, because Philip had that really cool website and he was doing all these really amazing things, and then we're like, "Who's your host?" And he's like, "It was a sign in my neighborhood."
Right? It's like
Oh
some of
my
the
God,
biggest
dude,
webs.
you're on some dude's server in a basement? Like, what's happening here? But he had a
Right.
really cool website. It performed well. It did things. It's like, wow, there are options everywhere in this industry. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, hosting's the most profitable one.
Well, Emily, I think this brings us up to the ending moments of the call here. I want to thank everybody that jumped in, joined us with comments, made it interactive. We kind of had a little bit of fun. I took advantage of Emily speaking in the background and actually answered a couple of support tickets real quick, so that clears my menu off a little bit. I want to reiterate the offer because that's my job. So if you are interested in anything we spoke about and want to take a better look at LifterLMS, you can go to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift/AMA-gift, and that'll get you a 55% off coupon. And other than that, Emily, what's a good way for folks to reach you?
WPCourseguide.com. How about you, Kurt?
Mañana no más, mañananomas.com, or Kurt Von Annen on LinkedIn. I'm the only Kurt Von Annen there. It makes me easy to find. And I think that's it. I think we're going to say we will see you same time next week. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye-bye.